Just when I thought we were going to get a break from the black fatigue we've all been experiencing, the deep mental exhaustion from being forced to care about black people and their actions 24/7, the city of New York decided to erect this gigantic 12-foot statue of a black woman in the middle of Times Square. When I first saw the story, I thought that the person posting it was joking, but this is actually a real statue. And so far, there really isn't any news coverage on it. If you search Google's news tab, the only coverage comes from Outkick, which is like a Fox News outlet, some just random websites, Black Enterprise, the Times of India, the Daily Mail over there in the UK. Woke new statue in Times Square sparks instant mockery. But the local CBS News affiliate in New York, Channel 2, hit the streets and asked the locals what they think.
A plus-size woman, I'm a plus-size man, I'm African-American, it's the African-American woman statue. So just seeing another piece for me to stop and just have a moment with was very powerful.
Me being a plus-size black woman, I kind of looking at it was just like, oh, I wonder what me as a small child would have thought looking at something like that. Representation.
The piece is part of a series called Grounded in the Stars, which Gene Cooney, director of Times Square Art, says confronts preconceived notions of identity and representation.
Why, though? It's not like there's a shortage of fat black women in America. In fact, they're probably the majority. Nobody needs to see a gigantic statue of Shaniqua in Times Square to feel better about themselves. Part of the reason it was put up is because there are two statues of two white men in Times Square. Probably pretty popular New Yorkers, I'm assuming, George M. Cohen and Father Duffy, so they needed more diversity. But I'm glad they put it up, though, because the memes are fantastic. I don't know if Generation Z or even millennials are familiar with this scene. Let me know in the comments below. This might be a little bit too old of a cultural reference. This is the final scene in the original Planet of the Apes, when the Statue of Liberty is on the beach, and then Charlton Heston realizes that the Planet of the Apes is actually planet Earth. This meme maker decided to merge that atrocious Martin Luther King memorial piece that was set up in Boston a few years ago with the new giant black woman in Times Square. And this one is Stacey Abrams carrying the love of her life. Oh, and let's not forget about this one. This is obviously George Floyd, who has mistaken the woman for being pregnant. Stay tuned because there's plenty more to come in this video, but obviously if you're new here, you're not gonna find another YouTuber like me anywhere else. This from the same woke city that took down a statue of Thomas Jefferson that was located in City Hall for well over 100 years.
The statue of Thomas Jefferson in the city council chamber has been removed. The statue was taken down from its pedestal earlier today to be moved to the New York Historical Society. Some council members had objected to its presence because of Jefferson's history as a slave owner. The statue was donated to the city in 1834, commissioned by a U.S. Navy Commodore to honor Jefferson's commitment to religious freedom.
Many disgruntled black people are still upset about statues of Christopher Columbus. They thought they tore them all down during the Black Lives Matter insurrection of 2020, but there still are a few across the country. So in Chicago, they're making sure to get rid of those now.
We do have to make sure that our presentation is depicting not just truth, but the best part of our existence, which is our collective humanity.
The Park District is planning to clear away the larger Grant Park statue's base and redesign the plaza as a gathering space that will accommodate temporary artwork.
That's the mayor of Chicago, who obviously went to the Kamala Harris School of Word Salad. Remember when the media mocked President Trump when he started pushing back against taking down the Confederate statues, warning that it would ultimately lead to a slippery slope where statues of Thomas Jefferson and George Washington would be next?
The president's concern seems to be that tearing down statues leads to a slippery slope.
This week it's Robert E. Lee. I noticed that Stonewall Jackson's coming down. I wonder, is it George Washington next week? And is it Thomas Jefferson the week after? You know, you really do have to ask yourself, where does it stop?
Okay, well, I'll tell you where it stops. Somewhere. Anytime someone asks, where does it stop, the answer is always somewhere. You might let your kid have Twizzlers, but not inject black tar heroin. You don't just go, well, after the Twizzlers, where does it stop?
Well, sir, obviously it didn't stop there, and President Trump was right again.
I don't care if it's a George Washington statue or a Thomas Jefferson statue or a Robert E. Lee statue. They all need to come down. There is a way that we can recognize and appreciate. I'm not finished.
You're feeding into Steve Bannon and Trump's talk.
You're not qualified to be on national television because obviously you are a diversity hire. But now, according to Jasmine Crockett, a Democratic congresswoman in Texas, and many others with black fragility, that is now a racial slur.
And instead of publicly calling us the N-word, they use racist epithets and suggest that we're ghetto or unqualified or diversity hires.
Oh no, we're not suggesting it. We're point blank saying it.
Even though we're all more, oftentimes than not, more educated and qualified than they are. I have news for you. These attacks are not new because Jim Crow never died. He just lied in wait.
I'm not sure if this was one of those many segregated graduation ceremonies because more than 75 different colleges across the country now host black-only graduation ceremonies so they can have their little black safe space away from the terrible white people. And I actually agree with Don Lemon's assessment of Jasmine Crockett. He thinks that she should be one of the top leaders in the party. And I do too, but not because, she's qualified or that it would be good for the party. Obviously, it would be quite detrimental to them. But Don Lemon is so out of touch, he thinks it would be great.
People love AOC.
They do, because there's a lot of morons in our country.
People love Jasmine Crockett. People love Eric Swalwell.
Who?
And the like. And I think that the Democratic Party should put the people out there who the people want. They should put the politicians out there who the people want, who they're asking for.
Who's asking for Eric Swalwell? Yes, let's make this guy one of the top leaders of the Democrat Party here seen begging for small donations in order to hopefully keep his campaign running when he was running for president back in 2020.
Hey guys, Eric Swalwell here. Not sure if everyone knows this, but we need 65,000 individual donors to cement our place on the debate stage. Every day we're getting closer and closer to that goal, but I need you. Just $1, seriously, $1 can make sure we get there. Join our movement. Go bold with me, and let's do this together.
A movement. The Eric Swalwell movement. Oh, he had a movement going, all right. A bowel movement.
The evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election. And the complaint that I've heard from...
If you missed yesterday's video about the total black fragility meltdown on Piers Morgan and Piers being stunned into silence after being schooled on what free speech is, you definitely got to go and see it. But now he wants even more people censored. Again, his show is called Uncensored, but he wants Alex Jones censored. He wants people who say the N-word to be censored. Now he wants Kanye West to be censored, to be banned from Twitter.
But the trouble is, Ye.
He's changed his name to Ye, in case you haven't heard.
It's not all love, is it? It's actually all hate. It's hate towards everybody.
He's talking about what he's posting over there.
Including your family.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think if you don't hate Kim Kardashian, you got a problem.
Your ex-wife, towards Jewish people, towards other black people, towards other rappers, towards pretty much anyone you can think of.
So he should be banned because he's spewing hate speech against other rappers. Apparently, Piers Morgan has no idea what rap music even is.
You've become a hate machine, fueled on social media because you have 32 or 33 million, as you corrected me, followers, amplifying everything you say, all this vicious sentiment to a vast audience. And that is wrong. Elon Musk should remove you from X. He should deplatform you.
I'm sorry, Piers, but even though you worked in the United States as a CNN host for numerous years, you're obviously not familiar with this country because actual patriotic Americans believe in the First Amendment. Freedom of speech. And speaking of free speech, the campaign to counter cancel culture over on GiveSendGo regarding Shiloh Hendricks' page has reached now over $750,000. And local and state leaders, along with those in the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, are demanding that the Rochester authorities charge her with some kind of crime, with an imaginary crime, with hurting the feelings of that little black thief. There's a lot of clips that I still want to show regarding this topic, but unfortunately, if I don't bleep them, then YouTube is going to probably take these videos down. So if you want to see things like this completely uncensored, then check out my locals page by clicking the link in the description below. Locals is a private subscription blog service. You can still follow me over there and see some of the posts, but the good ones are for members only. Like I said, $5 a month, so click the link in the description below. Your subscription helps sponsor my channel. Keep the word going. You can see some fantastic clips that, let's just say, aren't going to be allowed on YouTube for obvious reasons. So click the link in the description below. Head on over there and check it out.